A pre-game interview. So, how you feeling?
Oh man, I feel great, man. Got a good night rest. Just fresh off of work. Finna go get it in, baby.
How many points you think you finna score today?
10 buckets, man. You know, it's gonna be limited minutes. You know, everybody gotta get their clock. But I'm gonna make the best of my time, you know?
Alright, folks. You heard it from the McCrays.
On the night of March 6, 2024, in West Palm Beach, Florida, 18-year-old Kelvi Latrice McCray was doing something so ordinary it should have been safe. She was laughing with friends on Facetime. But in the middle of that call, the laughter was replaced with screaming. Then came the sound of gunfire. Her friends froze in horror on the other end of the screen. And within minutes, 2 young lives would be gone. But this story does not begin there. It begins one day earlier, on March 5th, when Kelvi did what victims of abuse are urged to do. She called police. She told them her ex-boyfriend had assaulted her, that he had threatened her with a gun, that he had trapped her and damaged her car. Police documented her words. They even pursued him that night. He escaped, but he was wanted. It was already on record. And yet, within 24 hours, he was back at her doorstep with a firearm. The question that ripples through this case, and that continues to haunt her family, is painfully simple. How could danger this visible slip through the cracks so quickly? Kelvi was not just a name in a headline. She was 18 years old. She was ambitious, sharp, and already building her future. She had dreams of modeling, of becoming a professional beautician, and she was already running her own hairstyling business. Friends knew her as a young woman who was always working on her craft. Braids, wigs, extensions. Her uncle, Ricky Aiken, remembered her as smart, driven, and filled with light. For her family, she was love. For her community, she was promise. And yet, that promise ended violently inside her home. Let's go back to March 5th. According to the arrest affidavit filed by the West Palm Beach Police Department, Kelvi told officers that her ex-boyfriend, Christopher Shaw, age 23, had assaulted her. She said he held her against her will, refusing to let her leave. She said he threatened her with a gun. She said he damaged her vehicle in anger. This was not a minor dispute. It was armed intimidation, false imprisonment, destruction of property. Police responded immediately. They documented the allegations. They pursued Shaw that night, chasing him through the streets. But he got away. It should have been a turning point. It should have been the moment where protection was placed between Kelvi and the man who posed a threat to her. Instead, it became the last warning. On the evening of March 6th, Kelvi was home on Sapodilla Avenue. She was doing what so many young people do, catching up with friends over FaceTime, letting her guard down in the safety of her own space. But while her friends watched her on their screens, Shaw entered. They heard a confrontation. They heard her scream. Then they heard gunshots. The call cut out. Silence followed. When police arrived, they found Kelvi shot. Nearby was Shaw, suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Kelvi was pronounced dead that night. Shaw was rushed to the hospital, but by the next day, he too was gone. Police confirmed what everyone already feared. This was a murder-suicide. It is one of the most chilling contradictions in recent memory. One day, a victim calls police, reporting threats with a gun. The next day, that same victim is killed by the very man she warned them about. For her family, the grief is immeasurable. At a candlelight vigil, neighbors gathered with candles and flowers, chanting her name, Kelvi Latrice. Friends spoke about her laugh, her talent, her dreams. Her uncle, Ricky Aiken, said through tears she was going to do big things. But grief was mixed with anger. Anger that the system had failed. Police spokesperson Mike Jocklas later confirmed the most haunting detail. They were on FaceTime. They heard the shots. They knew what was happening in real time. Imagine being a teenager, laughing with your friend on a video call, and suddenly hearing her scream in terror. Imagine hearing gunshots, knowing your friend is being killed, but being powerless to help. That trauma now belongs to every witness on that call. By March 7th, the Palm Beach County Medical Examiner released the findings. Kelvi's death, homicide by gunshot wounds. Christopher Shaw's suicide by self-inflicted gunshot. The case was closed, but the questions were not. Why wasn't Shaw apprehended after the March 5th pursuit? Why wasn't an emergency protective order issued immediately? Why was a violent offender able to walk back into his victim's home so soon after police were already alerted? These are not technicalities. They are life and death failures. Advocates for survivors of domestic violence have long warned that the hours after reporting abuse are the most dangerous. Abusers often escalate when they know police are involved. For Kelvi, those hours, just 24 of them, proved fatal. She did what survivors are urged to do. She reported, she trusted the system. But she was left exposed. And this is where the case takes on meaning far beyond West Palm Beach. Because what happened to Kelvi is not isolated. Across the United States, Black women are disproportionately victims of intimate partner violence. Studies show they are more likely to be killed by a partner and less likely to receive adequate protection. Kelvi's story becomes not just one family's tragedy, but a mirror of systemic failure. If you're watching this, I want you to pause for a moment and think about her courage. At just 18, Kelvi picked up the phone and told police the truth. She risked angering a man who had already threatened her with a gun. She stepped forward when it would have been easier to stay silent. That courage should have been met with safety. Instead, it was met with silence. If you believe more people need to hear stories like this, take a moment right now. Hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe so that the names of young women like Kelvi McCray are never forgotten. At her vigil, friends posted tributes on social media. Some wrote about her laugh. Others posted photos of her hairstyling work, the braids and wigs she created, the craft that was already setting her apart. Neighbors spoke about her potential, about the future she should have had. She was a star, one friend wrote, and now that light is gone. But her death also became a rallying cry. Community members demanded answers. Why wasn't there a faster response? Why wasn't an arrest made after the March 5th chase? Why was no emergency protective order in place? These questions hang in the air, unanswered. The police file is closed, but the case is not over in the minds of those who loved her. For them, every detail raises another question. If Shaw had been arrested on March 5th, would Kelvi still be alive on March 6th? If a protection order had been filed, would he have been stopped at her door? If the system had acted with the urgency she deserved, would her name still be on her family's lips today? Not in grief, but in celebration. Kelvi's story forces us to confront these contradictions. A pursuit one night, a murder the next. A report filed one day, a life lost the next. A system that responded on paper, but failed in practice. Kelvi Latrice McCray was born in 2006. She died on March 6, 2024. She was 18 years old, a daughter, a niece, a friend, an entrepreneur in the making. A young woman with dreams of beauty, laughter, and life. She should be here today. Instead, she is gone. Her name deserves to be remembered, and her story deserves to be told, not just as a tragedy, but as a warning. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, do not wait. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. In Florida, call the state's hotline at 1-800-500-1119. And if you're in West Palm Beach, use the police tip line if you know someone else at risk. This video is dedicated to Kelvi, to her family, to her community, and to every survivor still waiting for their call for help to be answered. Let us honor her memory by speaking her name, by telling her story, and by demanding better. Before you leave, take one more step. Subscribe to this channel, share this story, comment her name, because every share keeps her memory alive. Every comment makes her voice louder, and every subscription makes it harder for these stories to be ignored. Kelvi Latrice McCray gone at 18, but not forgotten.
Last month,
I was there. I was in the home when it happened. It plays over and over again.
Kelvi's ex-boyfriend shot and killed her in her home in West Palm Beach. And just a day before, the teen had called 911 saying she was being held hostage by her ex, shown in this video provided by her family.
tried to gain entry to her vehicle when she's trying to get away from someone who has just threatened her life, jumps on top of her vehicle, cracks her windshield.
Family attorneys tell us Kelvi was able to escape to Gaines Park, but soon realized her ex was canvassing the area. She quickly pointed him out to West Palm Beach police, who tried to apprehend him before he got away.
At no point in time did any of the officers offer Miss McCray a safe place to go.
And it was that very next day when Kelvi's ex came into her home and killed her at night before killing himself. Now her family is seeking justice, saying police should have done more to protect her and that all agencies should have more policies for victims of domestic violence.
She was smart. She was confident in what she wanted to be in life. It's really hard.
We are intending on bringing a claim that's set forth statutorily. And then if that claim isn't resolved at the end of the 6-month time period, then we intend on filing a lawsuit.